Thompson, radio talk show host. Should our military be the first place we look to trim the fat?
It should absolutely be one of the first places we look, because first of all, listen, we have the best military forces in the world. We have enough nuclear capabilities to blow up the world 1,000,000 times over, okay? We don't need to be in foreign countries acting as a policeman for the entire world. I think the first thing we need to do is put our dog only in fights that really concern us. There are so many countries we can pull out of immediately that if we did that, we would save in the billions into the trillions of dollars instantaneously. So first off, pull the troops back and put the money in military where it needs to be, starting with benefits and paying our veterans and our military forces, which is one of the things that they've already cut, which is disgraceful.
Listen, 50% of all discretionary funds of the federal government is used by the military, according to Business Insider. I mean, there is an insane amount of military waste. Now, one report said you could cut $1 trillion from the military. We've all heard the stories about the $100 rolls of toilet paper. I went to the streets and found, guess what? A lot of Americans mention the military as that room to remodel.
I'd eliminate the military and bring all the troops home from Afghanistan, the drone wars, the CIA, the NSA. I'd get rid of all of it.
I actually used to work in part for the government on the cruise missile when I was 23, and I was in charge of $80 million, and the waste is unbelievable.
Easy to say, but then entire communities in the United States are built around the military, and they depend on the military. So straight out to the lion's den. The Danielle Belton, political blogger, it's easy to talk about hypothetically cut military spending. But with millions of American families depending on military spending, is it even politically feasible?
Well, that's the tough part about cutting defense spending. I'm from St. Louis, Missouri, and my father worked in the aerospace industry, and he was someone that, I mean, he put food on our table because of the fact that people in the government bought the F-15 fighter jet. I mean, that was the main reason why I was able to go to college, why we had the home that we had, was all built on how much was being spent in the military-industrial complex. So the reality is you have lots of lobbyists, you have lots of politicians, you have lots of corporations that are all in bed with each other, basically, to keep this fundraising machine going at all costs, whether you actually need the weapons or not.
Well, I mean, we got to do something. Rolanda wants.
Most definitely.
Host the Sundays with Rolanda. We have to do something. See that money? It's really not, at the end of the day, just paper you can print out. I mean, come on, we're on the verge of a financial crisis here if things don't get resolved sometime soon.
Well, that's true. I think we need to claim a declaration of independence from war. There's no question we need a strong defense. There's no question about that. But I feel that maybe that budget is a bit bloated. And you pointed out, in every house, we need to clean out the clutter here and there. And it's ironic that because of that, it's coming back to bite our own military families. This is unconscionable, what is happening, and it's just when they're children that are suffering, military families that are suffering, there has got to be something done. Enough is enough.
You know, when you have $150 million per plane, there's a problem. And I read at one point, I can't prove this is true, that there are some corporations that make stuff for the military. They put different parts in different states so that they're protected politically, so nobody wants to cut that particular thing they're making for the U.S. government, for the military.
Look, there's absolutely fat there, Jane, but also we can't forget we're living in the age of terrorism, and terror is still a real threat both here and around the world, and a lot of that spending is counterterrorism money and other terrorism-related activities.
We can fight terrorism here in our country much better if we pull troops out of all these other countries we're in. We've been fighting wars, as far as I can remember, for the last few decades, and
you know, it's easy to say that.
It's easy to say to come first.
It's easy to say that, but you would be the first to yell if, God forbid, there's another terror attack here and it gets traced to another country. I mean, so we have to look at the full picture.
Listen,
it's easy to say what needs to be cut.
Okay, hold on one second, Adam. Let Rolanda wants to get in.
Well, maybe we should work on the way we relate to people, to other people. I mean, militarism, materialism, and racism have been called the three evils of this nation. And maybe we need to change our policy with people instead of with politicians. I think there's so many politicians in bed with so many different situations that there's going to have to be a major change of a thought process, a major change of consciousness in this nation before things like our budgets change. Our minds, our hearts, our consciousness has to change first. Where is the compassion and the humanity in politics these days?
Look, the Iraq and
gone.
Afghanistan wars have cost more than $150 billion a year, according to Business Insider. Susan, Illinois, what do you have to say?
Ridiculous. Recess is over. These guys need to get out of the sandbox, put on their big boy pants, and get back to work and do what they are paid. Well, they're the only ones getting paid. Do it. Get back in there and do it.
I love it. Get out of the gym, dry off your sweat, put on your clothes, and get to work. Members of Congress, more on the other side.
Jane Velez Mitchell, delivered by UP.